Hi, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of The Hitstreak. Check it out. I got to give a big shout out to my show sponsor, my friends over at AVLX. I also have to give a big shout out to Charles Henry and Ace Young, the amazing performers and producers of the music behind the show, as well as the amazing people that make up the Hit Lab creative team, who are the producers of the show. Folks, I have a favor to ask. If you like what you hear, and I know you do, click that subscribe button to make sure you get alerted when new episodes are dropped. Thanks for tuning in.
The real success stories told by the people who live them.
We're going to have some guests on this show that everybody knows, and we're going to have guests on this show that nobody knows yet.
One by one, Nick Hyder is adding hits to the hit streak.
Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of The Hit Streak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and today in the booth, today in the studio, today in the Hit Lab, I've got a very special treat for you. You probably have seen this gentleman. I can call you a gentleman. You've probably seen this gentleman at some of the big concerts and events or hottest places you might have partied at all across the United States. So here's a couple places that you might have seen him. You might have seen him on tour with Rascal Flats. You might have seen him on tour with Brad Paisley or a slew of other Live Nation concerts and festivals. You might have seen him in the booth at some of the hottest events and nightclubs all around the United States. You might have seen him at one of the Titans games for 5 seasons, because he was, if you were in the house at Nissan Stadium and watching them live and in living color and in person, he would have been the guy playing those tunes for you, right? So in the building, in the Hit Lab today, I've got a very special friend of mine, and well, he's just an all-out awesome guy. I've got DJ Rod Youree in the building today.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Like, we're going to be, we look, folks, we got like a lot of stories that we can tell you about. Like, does anybody really understand what it is like to be a DJ?
Only other DJs.
Only other DJs. Well, I wouldn't consider myself a DJ, but I have hung out with you guys a lot, and you've let me play with you from time to time. So, do
people know you used to be a DJ? You played one on TV.
I sure did. I did play a DJ on TV. That's right. I got to be a DJ because I got to hang out with some real DJs that taught me the ropes and let me hang and play a little bit. I got to open for some awesome people through you. We're going to be talking about that in a minute.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, like a DJ, what are some of the most common misconceptions that comes along with that title? Because, like, dude, you make a really good living, and this is a career for you. Like, this is your day job, so to speak. I did air quotes if you're not watching. Right?
I think that's probably the biggest misconception, is that I can actually make a career out of this, and this is my job.
That's right.
Most people probably think, oh, I'm a DJ. He probably gets $50, $100 a night or whatever. It's like, no, this is my living, and it's a pretty good living, which I'm blessed for.
It's just like any other type of musician, right? So some people make $50 to play guitar downtown and sing to 15 people, and some people get paid millions of dollars, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
So, being a musician and then hanging out with DJs for a long time, like, you guys are as much producers as you are anything. But you also control the culture, the environment, and honestly the revenue inside of all the venues that you're rocking and rolling. We're going to talk about that too as well. Like, I don't know, man. Like, how in the world? So how did you become how did you decide that the DJ life was the life for you?
I kind of it was by accident, stumbled across of it when I was in college, pledging my fraternity at MTSU. I've always been a music fan and haven't had more CDs at the time. That's how old I am. Mm-hmm. And we were having a party one night at the house, and the president was like, just go put some CDs on back there on the CD changer. And next thing I know, I'm sitting back there for 3-4 hours just changing CDs out, just picking different songs to play. Then that went on for a few weeks, few parties, and next thing you know, the fraternity house bought like a horrendous DJ setup on hindsight, but I didn't know any better. And so it started from there. And I was 18, I guess, when I first started the idea of DJing, and then played my first bar when I was 20. Won't tell anybody about that, but
Well, I mean, like, look, it's like anything else. It's a skill. You got to love music first of all, and then you told me in a video we made years ago when we had a residency together that you started DJing because you just had more music than everybody. You loved the music, and you just had more music than everybody else.
I think I had like 5 or 6 CD books of just all genres too, which is the main thing. You got to love everything. You just can't pigeonhole yourself into one type of music. Well, I guess you can, but that's all you're going to be known for. Whereas I can.
It's the same thing in business, baby. There's the first hit right there.
There you go.
That's awesome. All right, so to all the folks out there that want to be musicians, that want to be a DJ, right? So you mentioned that you started when you were 18 in college. You mentioned you got your first club gig when you were 20, and like you've been doing this for a couple decades now, right?
Well, not to age myself, but been doing it 23 years now.
That's right.
In bars and clubs.
That's right. And to be clear, this is your job, man. This is how you make a living.
100%.
And he makes a good one too, right? So, but it wasn't easy, and the price that you get paid, you weren't always paid that. You had to work your way up, just like
I definitely had some of those $50 gigs.
That's right.
When I started out.
Shoot, I played for free more times than I care to mention.
You definitely played it free for opening for me a few times.
That's right. Whoever would listen to me, whoever would give me a spot, I was in.
You got a nice bar tab, though.
I did get a nice bar tab. I appreciate that, too. I think everybody did.
If you knew us, you appreciated our bar tab.
Absolutely. Well, dude, like I mentioned, some pretty awesome people in the country music realm, but like right now, you have a Vegas residency, right?
Yeah. You can find me at Doghouse at the New Resorts World. I'll be heading out there next week, depending on when this drops. Might be this week. So.
Yeah, we'll be hanging out with you there, and so this will go next Tuesday, right a week from today. So that'll be the week we'll be coming down to see you 2 days later. So when the people are listening to this, right, I'll be packing my bags to come see you in Vegas.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a good time. So you live in Nashville. How in the world do you get residencies in? I mean, of all places, the nightclub capital of the world, Las Vegas, the party city, right?
I was lucky enough to sign up with a Blackout Artist DJ booking group, and through DJ Silver, who's gotten me probably most of my high-profile gigs. That's how I ended up in Vegas and get a lot of the big-time gigs. The Rascal Flats gig came through Silver also. So
yeah. Well, he changed the whole landscape.
I just need to give him a percentage of everything I make for life.
Well, he says he feels the same way about you because he slept on your couch when he was trying to make it as a DJ.
He did sleep on my couch when we first started coming to Nashville.
That's awesome, dude. Well, it's you guys have remained close, and I mean, you've changed the landscape of it. He was the first country artist or country music DJ to have a record deal, right?
Yeah, first country artist DJ with a record deal. Then I think he's first or second to tour with a recording artist.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And you guys have been.
He's definitely the longest running consistent touring
absolutely
DJ in the country field.
Absolutely. Well, dude, it's awesome that you guys have been able to do that kind of stuff. So you've been rocking, so you did 5 seasons with the Titans, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
All right, so explain to the folks what that's all about.
Well, the first season, back to Silver, him and I split that season, and then when his touring took off with Jason Aldean, I picked up the rest of the seasons. But yeah, I'd play all the pregame music and warm-up music for when the players got on the field, and then the first season, we just did pregame and warm-ups and halftime breaks, stuff like that. Then the second year, program director was like, hey, you're here. Why don't you play some music for the defense while they're out there? So I started doing actual in-game defensive music as well.
That's awesome.
So having to pay attention to the game, read the energy of the crowd, read the energy of the play that just happened, read the energy of the play you need to happen, and cue the music up for that, and have the appropriate music. And
that's NFL production. Like, that's on mainstream TV. There's commercial breaks. There's so much that you got to be aware of and know what's going on.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
I'm sure. And then I can remember when we would come to see it, it was like freezing cold, and you work with your hands.
Yeah, I think it was one of the last games, might have been the last game I actually did. I think it was 23 degrees. Wow. I believe is what my selfie said when I took it. I'm out there just bundled up, gloves on, face mask, layers, and somehow all my equipment kept working because I was stationed outside.
Yeah.
I was the guy outside on the stage. I wasn't blessed to be in the heated booth.
No, that's miserable, man. Miserable. And gosh, we've been. So I played with you. So I met you back, gosh, in the early 2000s, right when you guys were doing all the stuff with the drink company in Knoxville, and you guys were killing it doing all those things, and you were the DJ, right?
Well, I might have first met you at Stumbling in a Bar in Nashville.
That's right. That's exactly where it was. And
to really date how old we are.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you always, as a DJ, you always did a great job of, the place was always busy, and then when the people got there, you kept them there. But more importantly, like, as I got older into the industry and learned more, it's all about revenue. You were unbelievable at, like, people don't understand that as a DJ, you mentioned reading the crowd. One of the things you're doing besides keeping them there is keeping them buying things. Yeah,
it's one of the key things a lot of guys don't know or don't notice is you got to turn the crowd also. It's like, it's cool to have everybody dancing at once, but then you need to flip the crowd to send them back to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 100% of the people don't like the song you're playing next, so send those people to the bar, then play another song that everybody likes, bring them back to the dance floor, then just keep rotating it all night long.
Yeah, it's like
so the revenue of the bar stays up. But
the puppet master.
Yeah, you can blow your wad real quick and be like, man, it looks great out there. The whole club's just on the dance floor right now, but then an hour later, nobody's in the club because they're all spent.
That's
and
right.
The revenue wasn't that high, but you keep turning it over, and the bar's going to love you.
That's right. So in the with technology, especially like the last 10 years, the DJ game, the DJ profession, the whole industry's changed. It went from turntables and vinyl to computer screens, and
it went to, you really had to put in legwork to find music and actually learn how to DJ. Now you can become a DJ. I can teach anybody how to DJ, but the hardest part's learning what to play and when to play it. But
right,
music's all available online now. There's no going to the record store, taking a trip down to Atlanta, or taking a trip down to Orlando, trying to find rare records, and no carrying record crates in anymore or CD books. It's just show up with your laptop and go.
That's right. Well, it is a lot of fun. It's nice having all that type of versatility when, I guess in the old days you could only play as many record crates as you carried in.
Yeah, the first club I was at, I had 6 record crates, and if you wanted something that wasn't in those record crates, it wasn't happening.
So in the band world, I always, as a drummer, and my son being a drummer, like, that's the person that takes the longest to get in and out, because you got to carry all those drums and cymbals and stands in. The guitar player just throws the guitar in the case and walks out, With the old school DJ, it was that way, because you were carrying all those crates.
Yeah, I got to the point where I just left them there. If I was playing the same place all weekend long, they just stayed there. I didn't move them until I was done.
Yep. And
but I don't miss those days at all. I'd much rather just show up with my backpack and pull my laptop out.
That's right. And the and everything's electronic now. So even the record players and stuff, the platters and everything are digital.
Yeah, I still use turntables, but it's just got a code on there now that sends a signal to the laptop, and all your music's just read through the laptop.
That's incredible. And the equipment, when I was my equipment's so old now, I hope it works. I'm not sure.
Depending on what OS you're running on your laptop, it might not.
It was a lot of fun, but I know it's evolved a lot. It's evolved a lot since then, right? All right, so you grew up in Nashville. You are a true open format DJ.
Yes.
Right? So tell the folks a little bit what open format means.
Open format is basically just any genre. You might hear hip-hop, you might hear rock, you might hear oldies, you might hear electro, you might hear country, depending on where I'm at.
Yeah.
There's not a genre that I can't drop in, and that's what the true definition of open format is any genre.
Yeah. So you always had the best tracks. You always had the best songs, remixes that nobody had ever heard before, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that still? And this was just a few years ago. Is that still the case today?
Not so much today, because everybody has access to the same websites. If you're a DJ, you have the same access to the websites I had.
Yep.
Now it's more. You can go out on Broadway now and you go to the bar and hear the same remixes and blends. It's almost identical every bar you go to. So it's all about how to play them, how to set them up, what you play before a song, what you play after a song.
Yep. What songs work well together?
Yeah, it's more about framing the songs now.
Okay. All right. So framing a song, elaborate on that a little bit.
Like, I've got some go-to. If you heard me play 5 years ago and hear me tonight, there's probably going to be a couple songs that I still play the same exact order I did back then. Like, I know I've got a little quick mix Dirty South old school edit that always do like 3 or 4 songs in a row, and they just sound perfect together. It's like I'm never gonna get away from it.
Yeah,
but it's all about just knowing what fits together, and because that's one thing. It's one of the things that's hard to teach is what fits together with another song.
Yeah,
I mean, like your computer can tell you what key it is, what BPM it is, but there's something in the ear.
That's right.
That you know from listening for music your whole life.
Who is? I think I already know the answer to this, but who is your favorite? Like, who's your idol when it comes to being a DJ?
It was DJ AM.
DJ AM. All right, that's what I thought. Right. So, and he was the first guy to really kind of take it like mainstream, I guess, like real mainstream, like on TV.
He's called the first. So I'll air quote this one also, celebrity DJ.
Yep.
First one that just the common person knew who he was.
And he was unbelievable.
He's the best there was. He was the true open format DJ also. He would take an 80s power ballad, drop it on top of some hip-hop beats, or take Big Hair, Poison song, Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, whatever, then drop it over hip-hop beats or vice versa.
Yep.
He could do it all.
So you have, in your time, because you've been an operator, owner of bars and nightclubs before. You've had all aspects of you've had your hands in every aspect that there is in there from, like you understand pour costs, you understand everything there is about the industry. Like if I opened a nightclub today, like you could run it.
Yeah, I had management positions everywhere I DJ'd until the last few years. I was also usually AGM or entertainment director or some title like that. But last few years, I've really enjoyed just walking in, DJing, and going home afterwards and not worrying about
absolutely
all the bells and whistles that go in before and after that keep you at the club till 5, 6 in the morning, counting money, dealing with
everything,
backed up plumbing, whatever it may be.
That's right. Even the nicest places that stuff happens to.
Oh, 100%. I don't care where you're at or how nice the place is. There's going to be issues.
So, what was DJ AM was the first true open format, but like what made him so unique? Because he didn't have all the technology that the kids have today.
When he first got on the scene, he was literally just flipping records with crates behind him.
Yep.
But he was able to flip them and do the same. He was able to do the things that Serato allows us to do through the laptop. He was able to do manually.
Yes.
And people are still trying to figure out how he's doing it manually.
It's amazing being able to take little samples and bits and pieces and go back and forth, and all with just 2 or 4 tracks, man.
I've heard stories of, I haven't seen it in person, but I've heard stories of older DJs who said they would actually stack vinyl on top of each other so they could quick mix, where they would literally just pull one off and go straight underneath to the next track rather than dig back into their crate.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, like they would stack 3 or 4 pieces of vinyl. I've never tried it. I kind of want to now.
Well, let me know how that goes, because like I'm sure they make the record players to spin with a certain amount of weight on them.
I'm real curious how it works, but I've heard enough stories to know it's a thing.
I guess if you speed up the platter enough, that if there's weight on it, you can balance it somehow, I guess.
I know I've had wobbly records before where I had to put glasses on top of the turntable to keep the track down.
Stack of quarters on the edge.
Stack quarters on the tone arm.
Whatever it takes, and if the wind blew the wrong way.
All those old tricks that the young kids don't know now.
No, they never will, and maybe they don't need to. I don't know. They were. It was cool, but like it was terrible living through those days.
I actually heard one of the younger guys this past summer. I think he was playing one of the pool parties or rooftops outside, and he was talking about he was using vinyl. He said the needle was fluttering in the wind, and the vinyl was fluttering in the wind. I was like, "Did you try putting glass on top of the vinyl?" He's like, just looked at me confused. I was like, "That's how you fix that."
That's right. That's right. All the little tricks of the trade. So DJ AM was incredible, but like you have booked, promoted, open for massive festivals, amazing artists. We mentioned, I know that I was there when you opened up for Cruella, which was fantastic. You've shared the booth with Flo Rida to Nervo, JazyJeff and Questlove. I was there for Jazzy and Questlove. Those were freaking unbelievable sets.
Questlove is still the best DJ set I've ever seen in person, yes.
So him, and then we opened for the captains of the industry years ago.
Oh, yeah.
God, they were so good.
Stone Rock and Graham Funky.
Man, they were good, dude. Like that night blew my mind. I'd never seen anything like that in person.
Yeah, Stone and Graham are kind of, I guess they're known as, like, they're not widely known, but they're what you would call your DJ's favorite DJ.
Yeah. Yep. And where those guys based out of still?
L.A.
They're out of L.A.
Yeah.
Man, they were so cool and fun. But like, So because of you, I got to help open for that, right?
Yeah.
It was really cool. So like we had an opener for the headliner. It was just cool, man, getting to play for that kind of stuff. Big draws, packed house, like. And I always like the opening stuff because like if you don't know, you're building you're putting these sets of songs together throughout to hit certain times of night when you need them, right? So you don't play the best number one song in the world at like 9 p.m. You wait till it gets a little bit later.
Being the opening DJ is way harder than being the headliner.
I love being
people don't
the
understand
DJ.
that. And finding a good opener is almost impossible nowadays
Really,
because everybody wants to be the headliner.
everybody wants to be the headliner.
They think at 10 o'clock they should just be playing the number one track out, the biggest banger they have, and just burning the next guy.
And you're only going to play it once,
Absolutely.
unless the tip's big enough.
Unless they got $100. I won't play it twice.
All right, so just for fun, I'm gonna flip this piece of paper over, because the meat and potatoes for this show today is we have a lot of very successful people that come in the studio and hang with me, and they tell some great stories. What being a musician is, you're self-employed.
Yes.
You're self-employed, and a lot of the same things that make business people successful that start a business, the musicians that are successful are doing the exact same things.
Yes.
Right. So we're here to today. We're going to make sure that we put a stamp on that, and that we can prove that, right? But outside of that, like I know. Because it was for years. I had residencies downtown, opened for you, gosh, at the hottest, the two hottest places from, I guess it was 2010 all the way to like 2013.
I just had this talk with Doug the other day. My opened in 2008.
2008, so it was 2009 when I started opening for you there.
2008 to 2013 was mine, and then Scene was 2013 to 15-ish.
Yes. And that was when that was when I left. That was when I quit doing it. But I got to open with you basically every Friday, Saturday night. We did some weekday promotions and stuff. But like literally, I got to play with you every night. Most of the time, that would be before I went to do a residency somewhere else. But those two spots were the best in town. Nothing like them. They were the only true like real nightclubs in Nashville at the time.
And still, really, there hasn't been a real nightclub in Nashville since, really.
That's crazy.
I mean, you've got a couple spots, but Dirty Little Secret's the closest thing to a true nightclub, and it's kind of more the ultra nightclub, smaller size. Where
it's just a bougie little boutique.
You could pack 1,000 people in my.
Yes.
Don't tell the fire marshal, but you could.
You sure could. I saw
not that we didn't do it on a few nights.
I know. Well, a lot of nights.
Yes.
A whole lot of nights. So you've booked and opened some awesome people. Let's just go through a few of those names because like there was some massive outdoor festivals and stuff that you had a big hand in, right? So
well, I think you mentioned Cruella earlier. I think they're probably the coolest story we had because the first time they played they came as an opener for Rehab, and there was maybe 50 people there, and I think they told us it was their first time they'd played outside Chicago. Okay. And next time Cruella came to town, they played at Scene. Yep. Sold out Scene with 500 people inside and probably another 100, 200 outside trying to get in. Fire marshal knocking on the door. That's right. And then the next time they came, they played Jackson Hall, which is 1,000+ room. Yep. Sold it out. So to go from 50 people and nobody knowing who they were to coming in and selling out Jackson Hall and having number one song on the Billboard dance chart and touring all over the world. That's kind of pretty cool. And they stayed humble the whole time, which was really cool. Heck yeah.
They were, their whole crew was really nice.
Yeah.
They were really, really nice. So who else? Who was some of the other ones that, I'm trying to think of all the Dayglow.
Well, we did the Halloween block parties. Yep. Where we'd shut down 12th Avenue we had Bush and Candlebox one year.
Oh yeah. Bush, Candlebox. I mean, literally, we're talking thousands of people for these outdoor ones, like thousands.
Yeah. We did 3-6 Mafia one year, Foster the People.
That was when they were their big hit.
That was right when Pumped Up Kicks came out, and they were at the height of their career. Those block parties were insane. Literally just shut down 12th Avenue and put a stage at the end of the road and party out there. Then when we shut down the outside, everybody would come into my or 12th and Border, keep the party going.
And it was New Year's for a lot of those, or Halloween, so it could be cold.
Yeah, we did Halloween or New Year's, and then we had a couple Life in Color or Dayglow, depending on what year it was, what their branding was.
Yeah, those things were huge too.
Just giant paint parties with the biggest electronic DJs in the world at the time.
Yes, that was such a cool. So when I was a DJ, I started out as the push play guy, just in the open format, but you didn't really like blend or mix or anything. You just played the right songs when they were meant to be played.
Oh, I'd hate to go back and hear me in that first bar I played because I had no idea what mixing was at that time.
You just played what if they yelled, if they screamed, the girls went, woo!
Yeah, I was 100% just push play.
That's right. So when I first started opening for you, that was because I didn't quite yet know where I was going in career and everything. And like, I loved music. And as a performer, that was a way for me it was a great outlet. I got to hang out. But like, that was when, through you and my buddy on a Chile Bond, you guys said, hey man, you like need to learn how to mix if you're going to do that. and you guys taught me all the math and all the things to do that. And then like, that was how I learned to do it. As you said, here's songs you shouldn't play for these first 2 hours or hour and a half. And like, so basically we'd make a folder in a crate and I would go through and pick those things and it turned into a lot of fun. We recorded a lot of those.
I remember, I think I have one of the 5-hour mixes from Scene still on my laptop where you can even hear Kevin Cogswell, the owner of the club at the time, come on the mic for some reason and start trying to hype the crowd up.
Bless his heart. The opening night when I had sat over there, I'm not familiar with your gear. I was collecting on my payment for the bar tab. That was my fee.
Maybe paying yourself a little extra that night.
Totally paid myself a little extra that night, and like I did most nights. But I just remember you had to leave the booth for whatever reason it was, and to go. I think it was to go to the front door to handle something because it was always
sounds about right,
a capacity issue at that place because it was awesome. And so I slide over, and I thought I had queued up the next. As a matter of fact, you'd queued up the next song, and all I had to do was push play. Yeah. Well, I push play, and I'm just chilling, and then the outro it's just nothing but the bars.
Just boom clap, boom clap.
That's
boom,
it.
Clap.
So it took me a minute to realize that that's not good. And then I realized at that point in time I really wasn't familiar with your gear, and then the song stopped altogether, and then it was just dead silent, and hundreds of people like just staring at me with that blank stare on their face.
We've all been there.
And you're just like, and that's when panic sets in. And then I realized that there was a crossfader that had not been moved, and once I moved it over, I was about probably 30 to 45 seconds in. It started playing the next song, and then you came up. You remember what you said?
Good job. Nice mix. Something. Smooth transition.
That's it. Smooth transition there.
One of my go-to, you just messed up and I noticed phrases.
Everybody noticed. And remember it was recorded too. We had that on recording because we were talking about the mix.
I'll still do that probably twice a year.
Still twice a year?
Yeah. Just something where I'm not paying attention, maybe feeling too good, and just in there bobbing my head, just listening to music in my headphones or blasting through the monitor, then realize it's not actually playing to the crowd. And I fix the issue real quick, then I'll start looking around like I didn't do it. Like, what's going wrong? I'll start picking cables up, looking under the DJ booth, look to the sound guy, look to the lighting guy, be like, did y'all do that? No, it wasn't me.
Back in the day, there weren't sound guys like there are now for everything. Like, you just plugged into the system and you went.
Yeah.
Or they had something there that you played that was already there, right? Their own system, which that always sucked. That was never any good. You always want to play on your own stuff.
Yeah, anytime there's an issue, I guess I got to fix this on the fly now.
That's right. So, all right. So let's see if I can pick back up where we did. So, we've had a lot of good times. You played some of the biggest places. What's your all-time favorite place that you've ever played before?
I mean, hands down, it's going to be the residency at in Nashville.
That
just for what it was and at the time.
Yeah. It was a big room, dude.
Huge room. It's also the first room in Nashville that was bridging electronic music, big room music with like hip hop. Is like the true open format room of Nashville.
Yeah.
It was like right at the beginning of the explosion of the EDM scene. So you're getting hip hop, then you would also go up and get the latest, most popular EDM tracks that are coming out left and right at the time.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, like, so we already talked about some of your favorite favorite sets you've ever heard and so on and so forth. So you're doing a lot of stuff in Vegas. Like, so you could obviously get gigs in Nashville. Why are you going back and forth to Vegas all the time?
Something about a paid vacation almost is how I look at it.
That's right. I mean, you're a traveling, touring
I was just
artist.
in Vegas last week just on my own, just for
that's all
giggles. So to go out there and actually get paid to be there, just a little icing on top.
That's right. All right, so let's get to some of the meat and potatoes for everybody, right? Like, so we talk a lot. We have a lot of, like I mentioned before, a lot of successful business owners that come in. Nobody, I don't think anybody that we've had to date, that everybody started their own businesses. None of them were like franchise or anything like that. They started their own business. And they've gone off to do great things. There's all these things that these guys, these people, I should say, these folks have in common with all the bumps in the road in the beginning, the things they had to overcome, that it wasn't easy, it was extremely hard, that they had to invest almost blindly into themselves with investments, gear, marketing, or whatever it may be, with no guarantee of return. Like you do the exact same things.
Yeah.
And you have been for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. So, for the people that want to be musicians getting started, like what's some advice? They're all going to go out and bump their heads. They're going to say, I want to do what Rod does. And the only way they can do what you do is if they do what you did the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's time. You just got to put time into it. It's the whole 10,000 hour thing. It's like you're just not going to be the next big headliner, your first week of playing.
That's right.
You got to put in your dues too, which is, I think my biggest complaint about the younger guys now is not putting in the dues. Like, I played in Murfreesboro, a suburb outside Nashville, for years before I ever got my first Nashville gig.
Right.
And I definitely didn't deserve to play in Nashville until I put in my dues and worked my way up. It's basically like in sports, work your way through the minor league system or work your way through college before you get to the pros. Just can't go straight to the pros.
You're basically a vendor, so to speak, for hire for these venues, and like you have to bring something for them to want you, right? Because there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the DJ market is it real competitive? Is it pretty full? It's
oversaturated right now in Nashville because Nashville's the go-to city for bachelorettes, like we were talking about earlier. There's definitely, I think one of my biggest complaints about Nashville also is like for just the Broadway bars and clubs, everybody's getting paid the same, no matter if you start yesterday, if you started 20 years ago. But where you set yourself apart is getting the private gigs, the corporate gigs, the Titans gigs, the touring gigs. That's where you really rise to the top and can set your price point. And I've just been lucky enough now to where I can say no to gigs. I can pick and choose what I want to do.
That's cool. Absolutely. So you went from back in the day playing anywhere anybody would have you.
Oh, you throw me a gig, I'll be there.
That's right. And now you get to pick and choose the ones that you want. You get to be selective and stuff, right?
That's one thing I tell younger guys now and girls, the ones I know, they're successful, and I'm like, I know they're doing gigs they don't want to do. I'm like, you don't have to say yes to everything.
Right.
You can say no. It's okay to say no. There's somebody else there that can do it.
Absolutely. And if you're doing something you don't want to do anyways, it's not going to be as good.
Everybody's going to know you don't want to be there.
That's right. I've had many of those nights myself as well.
I mean, I'm speaking for truth because I've done it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. So many nights trying to launch a promotion or get something off the ground, playing to an empty house, a flop.
Yeah.
Everything flops.
It's way easier to play in front of 50,000 people than it is 50 people.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating. Most people wouldn't know like that. A lot of times the venue owner may not want you taking requests because they want you playing a certain thing. Like a lot of times the venue owner will say, these are songs you can't play. I want you to play these songs.
Yeah.
Like they're specific and pretty specific instructions a lot of time.
It's more of not a specific song. It's more of a don't do this genre, stick with this genre, stick with this mood type deal. It's like when I play at Virgin Pool during the summer, it's all throwbacks. It's 90s and 2000s. And then somebody comes up, it's like, hey, you want to hear the song that just came out last week? Everybody's going to love it. It's like, yeah, everybody might love it, but it's not what they want right now. There's a whole mood that's being set. That's
right. So you're in the business owner's house. They're deciding what their culture and what their identity is, and that's what you're rocking. And they usually have a theme behind just about everything.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
What are some other misconceptions from the average person that they will know? Because again, they're partying. Your career, your profession is somebody else's enjoyment, right? So
what song you love listening to in your car or at home while you're getting ready to go out is not necessarily going to work in a club or bar.
Right.
That's the huge misconception because I get requests all the time and people are like, hey, what about this song? I love this song. I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's a car song. I'll literally say it's a car song.
Right.
Like I like that song too. I listen to it in my car. It doesn't work for the energy I need in here.
That's right. Because you're the puppet master with strings. It's so cool. So a buddy of mine, Chris, when I first met him, I was explaining to him, like, I was like, dude, one of my favorite things about being a DJ is like you can make people do things. Like I could make people scream, I could make people yell in excitement, I can make people go get a drink or go to the bathroom, all the things that you said before.
You can make people fight if you're in the right place.
That's right. That's right. Anything you want them to do. And I was like, so we actually came to see you do a private event, and I brought him up there and we came up to the booth to hang out, and I was like, just watch what he does with these people. And we stood behind you and we watched you just move these people around, and his mind was blown that you were able to do that with 2 turntables and a computer with some songs in it. Yeah,
that's the hardest thing to teach is like I think I said earlier, I can teach somebody to DJ in 5 minutes, but teaching them what to play and when to play it and how to move the crowd around, that's the hardest part to teach. That only comes with time.
That's right. And it's just like, how do you, in business, how do you know when to do anything?
Exactly.
Knowing your audience, knowing your customers, knowing what you need, what the business needs, and all that kind of stuff, right?
You have to know what the customer needs before the customer knows they want it.
That's a good one. So you're in sales, is what you're telling me then?
If you want to say so, yes.
There you go. Well, you definitely are influencing the sales. So what are some other misconceptions that the average person might have when it comes to the DJ?
I think we mentioned actually making a career out of DJing is probably the biggest thing. And then it really it's the request. Mm-hmm. It's the amount of times I've said no to somebody, and it seems like it's the first time they've ever heard the word no in their life. And they just stand there dumbfounded.
They take it personally, man.
They do. And it's like, it's a request. It's not, just because you tell me a song you want to hear doesn't mean I have to do it.
That's right. Especially because you're probably 5 or 6 songs ahead at any point in time. You're going in a certain direction.
Yeah.
There's all these peaks and valleys to the energy you're creating, right?
Like if you happen to catch me at the right moment, right BPM, right energy with the song you have, I might throw it in right then.
That's right.
Other times I might tell you to kick rocks and it's not happening, or I might say some point between now and 3 a.m. you'll hear your song.
That's right. That's right. And you only want to play them once, right?
Unless, once again, they have a big enough tip.
That's right. Everything's got a price, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, the requests are crazy.
I always joke, if I could go back in history and just stop that first request.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That'd be, if I had the one magical power, that's what I'm doing.
The hot tub time machine.
Hot tub, Great White Buffalo.
There you go.
Go back. Stop that first request.
Well, it is crazy, man. Like, that I used to, when you first start, the fact that somebody would give you attention enough to come up and request a song, it was like, oh, it was cool.
Yeah.
But then once you actually do get good at it, and you are taking people on a journey of some sort for the night, like it's like when they request something that's going to be played at midnight at 9 p.m., or they request something that like you're at a certain BPM, and what they bring in is the total opposite. It just doesn't work.
And the current most popular song out doesn't need to be requested. It's going to get played.
That's
just
right.
Wait.
Oh, that's a good one. So we might need to say that one again.
The current most popular song does not need to be requested. It will eventually be played.
There you go. And it doesn't matter if you and your party would love to hear it right now.
Also, the worst is, hey, we're about to leave. Could you play this?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, why am I going to play it if you're about to leave?
That's exactly right.
Tell me you're going to stay for the next 3 hours, and I'll play it.
That's exactly right.
Tell me you're going back to the bar, spend more money, and I'll play it.
That's exactly right. So, well, needless to say, when people go out and they party, they have a good time. A lot of times they're not themselves.
Yeah.
They're under the influence
a
little
bit.
And like, dude, you've helped. Like, I don't. So when I first told you I wanted to have you on, everybody you made the jokes about, I'm just a DJ, whatever. Like, Rod, like DJs are responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars a year, just in liquor and in food and beverage sales.
Yeah.
Right. So like, you guys are some of the top performing salespeople of any industry on the planet.
Never really thought it like that, but if you say so.
So I think there's a whole lot to talk about, because I know the reason that I had to have you and a select 1 or 2 other guys is because as somebody that was an owner in the establishment or a manager in the establishment, like I needed the revenue to do a certain thing, and I knew you'd get it. Right? I knew you would get it. I knew that, one, everybody would talk about it tomorrow. That was the other thing, is they had to talk about what you did the next day.
Yeah.
And they always did. But I knew dang well that, like, because that was, as a DJ, you were the only people that would ask what sales were.
Yeah. I still do it. Every time I walk into a venue, like, I'll play Kung Fu on a Friday night. I'm there the next day doing the Saturday day shift. First thing I walk in to ask the bartender, I was like, what were sales last night?
Mm-hmm. You ask them their tips, too.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to make sure they made money. I want to make sure the bar made money.
That's right.
Because I'm getting paid the same no matter what, so I'll make sure everybody else gets their money.
That's right. And that's how you keep getting future. It's customer service, man. It's just like in business, dude. There's so many similarities between the performer or the DJ and like the businessman.
Like with social media now, I see DJs post on Instagram, like the DJ booth looks like the most fun place in the world. Mm-hmm. Then you can see the crowds just kind of standing there, and I'm always curious. I'm like, I want to ask the GM or the manager, like, what were sales that night?
That's right.
DJ booth looks like fun, but what did the rest of the room do?
That's right. That's right. So, we have one of the most entertaining things that we see on a weekly basis is when people make their comments on some of the things that we say on the show or some of the clips that we release later.
Can't wait for the Bachelor's comment.
Oh my goodness! Like I'm sure there's going to be some folks that are going to be like, DJs ain't nothing, whatever. But seriously, prove me wrong. I'm right here. Like DJs are responsible for literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in food and beverage sales across the world. Right? There's something that's a universal language that you guys are doing in music. You got to know it. You got to have access to a lot. You got to have access to get booked. You got to have access to the training. You got to have access to the sounds, the music, and like you're working, like especially when you're doing a big event like New Year's, you're timing things down to a clock.
Yeah.
Like you're queuing cryo, you're queuing lights. A lot of DJs control the lights in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's one thing I miss about back in the days. Like you had the light controller right there. You had sometimes you had access to the cryo.
That's right.
It's like you basically ran the whole room.
That's right, the whole thing, and it made a lot of fun. It was a lot. I remember the first time that because Doug was he was really good at lights.
Yeah.
But he was one of the few owners that had enjoyment in that, and like that was the first time that I played there.
That's why Mike was so successful. He loved owning a club and being in the club and being hands on and put money back into his business.
That's right.
Which is the biggest mistake I see is people aren't putting money back into their business.
That's right. He was. I learned.
They'll wait till something actually falls apart and breaks.
Yes.
Rather than just, it's a whole lot less money if you just fix things as they go or put money back in as you go rather than just wait till it all builds up at once.
One thing that I learned from him was, and he told me that he didn't even do it on purpose, but realized it was happening and just kept it going, is when they first built out when you open, it's usually not finished.
Yeah.
It's like 80 or 90% done. And he said, over the first year that we were going in there, it was like there was always something new.
Oh, yeah.
And he was and I was like, dude, every time I come in here, something's different. Like sometimes I come in just to see what you did next. He was like, yeah, I didn't realize that I was doing that for a while, and now it's just something we're going to keep doing.
Yeah.
So he was always keeping that, like you walked in and a bar would be moved or lights were different or like the DJ booth moved so many times.
That's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see from owner operators is just not adding to their business.
There you go.
They're just like, hey, we're open, come in.
Yeah.
Then wheels fall off, and next thing you know, they're asking questions why revenue's down. It's like, I don't know. You opened the door 3 years ago. Have you done anything different? Just expects people to show up, and it's the same thing every time. And especially in Nashville, where a new bar is opening every few weeks now.
Yeah, it seems like that. Like everywhere you turn, it's a new one.
Yeah,
they're all cool. They're all nice. I haven't been to half of them yet.
Yeah, neither have I, unless I've been paid to be there.
I only go where the places you're at.
I don't go out unless I get paid to be there.
That's right. One of the things that made Rhea and I successful in the insurance industry is the marketing and promotional skills that we learned in the hospitality industry, because it's, especially back in those days, like the best promoter usually won, because like
it was a bar, you had to pass out cards with your name on them, and then
had
the most cards come in with somebody's name.
That's right. Even as the DJ, like if you didn't have a guest list, like that wasn't a good thing. If you didn't have a guest list, you needed to be a draw, right?
I just had a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago talking about how DJs now, there's not a draw DJ in Nashville. There's not even really draw DJs in the U.S. anymore besides the hard ticket sales like a Tiesto or Calvin Harris, somebody like that.
Right.
But just your average DJ, they're not there to bring people in. They're there to keep they're there to keep the customers happy that you do have. Okay.
So it's less of a draw now and more about just customer service.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So how do you go from I would say that like I can tell you that next weekend, a week from this weekend, you're a draw because there's some guys that are going out to Vegas to see you, right? So, so how do you go from being a draw to how do you make the change to mainstream as a DJ? How do you become famous, so to speak? Those more air quotes they can't see.
I saw the air quotes. That's all that matters. Air quoting the famous mainstream. It's more along honestly, all mine has been dumb luck. Just somebody stumbles across hearing me somewhere and then gets a bigger gig from that. It's all somebody comes in, hears me, likes what I did, and then offers me a better job, better opportunity, and then on to the next one.
Because you've played for in front of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people.
To quote Bon Jovi, seen a million faces and I rocked them all.
That's right, baby. We got to give Bon Jovi one, don't we? Well, dude, it's I was really excited because like I was telling the creative team like some of the stories, like you guys know me as who we are today, but like this guy knows a different version, not as good of a version, but a different one.
It was a good version.
There's it
was probably not as financially good back then.
No, it was financially horrible.
That was the gene splitter era of Nick Hyder.
Yes, it was the gene splitter era. So we're just going to leave that one right there.
Like I just rolled right past that.
Yeah. We definitely, Rhea and I sought a lot of self-improvement from those days. And
we all have.
Well, it was like, but you were able to do it. You know, I had to leave it. To go start over and kind of reinvent myself a little bit. You've been able to stay in it.
Well, I was doing a 9 to 5 for 5 years until the pandemic hit also.
That's true. 9 to 5, but you were also doing...
I was doing 9 to 5 with a full-time DJ schedule.
But even the 9 to 5, it was in...
I was still in video production, still in the same area.
So you have expertise in that as well. So you can build walls, you can map stuff, you can create content.
I can't do much. I can just sell it.
You can sell it. There you go. Hey man, revenue's king.
Call me with your dream and I'll figure it out.
There you go. You know the people to do it, right? That's awesome.
Delegate.
Well, what's next for? I was going to ask you. So you have if people want to go and hear some of the mixes that you record live or produce on your own, you have a Mixcloud account, right?
Yes.
Tell me, it's Mixcloud and it's DJ Rod Youree.
Yes.
On Mixcloud, right?
You just download the Mixcloud app anywhere you get your apps from your iPhone or however Google stuff does it.
Yep. And get your Mixcloud and check out Rod. So, what's the next? Like, what's the next 12 months look like for you? What are some of your goals? Any things you want to...
Well, speaking of Mixcloud, one of the biggest things I'm trying to do for 2022 is actually put out a new mix every month. Because I dropped the ball bad last year. People hit me up for mixes. I'm like, well, I've got these older ones you can listen to. They're a couple years old, but still sound good. But really need to just put more content out. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest thing for 2022 for personal side.
Do you like... When you're putting out content, is there like any camera guys following you around doing anything, shooting live footage or anything like that?
If I know I'm going into a gig that's going to be pretty high energy and good looking venue, I might bring a camera crew with me. Mm-hmm. Let them get some sizzle reel stuff and roll from there.
Well, one thing I will say about reinventing ourselves, because like, we were talking about the gene splitting days. And, because I was probably 35, 40 pounds heavier back then.
I was probably 100 pounds heavier.
You were a lot heavier back then.
Yes.
So, seriously.
It's like when I sent Fiona over my bio and I hadn't looked at it and realized, I need to change the picture on that.
Dude, like, he's half the human that he was not that long ago, like just a couple years ago, I guess, right?
I was about 310 in that picture. I was like, ooh. I instantly just messaged my graphics guy. I was like, let's change this picture out real quick.
Well, like, so why did you go, like, you were getting gigs, you were doing everything, the weight didn't have anything to do with any of that stuff, but like, what made you decide to lose 100 pounds?
Honestly, pandemic, lost the DJing, everything shut down there, and then my 9 to 5 was in the production world, so production world shut down, so I had free time, I just needed to get out of the house and clear my head, I wasn't going to go crazy, so started going out, walking on the Greenway, and then started noticing drop a pound here, drop a pound there, and I was like, maybe I can actually, there's something behind this to actually commit to it. Mm-hmm. Like for years I've been, kind of watching what I ate, but still being the fat kid at heart and would still eat whatever I wanted certain times. So just, it's all mental. Just got locked into it.
So for you, it was just a decision that was in your mind that once you committed to it and you just stayed with it and then bam.
Yeah. Me and Jeremy, my buddy, he was in the same boat I was as another DJ, and we were going to go crazy if we weren't out doing something. So we just both started walking, and we ended up losing about 70 pounds, and I ended up losing right at 100 almost.
Dang, that's awesome, dude. Well,
but it's mainly just, we talk about it all the time, it's just 100%, we'll say 99%, it's mental.
That's right.
Just locking in on it and committing to it and sticking to it.
That's anything, man.
Absolutely.
That's anything. And people don't understand that. Like, that's the thing, is like, it's just, we're almost to February. I wonder how many people have already quit on their New Year's resolutions by now.
80%?
At least.
If not more?
I would say at least. It's sad. It really is.
That's why you always joke is like, the people who do actually go to the gym consistently don't want to go at the beginning of the year.
That's right. Because it's packed with a whole bunch of people that ain't going to be there in a month.
Yep, exactly.
What are, I don't know, man, what's some, I guess we could let the folks in on some stories from back in the day.
I mean, you want to give details of your gene splitting?
I did it, so I'm not necessarily proud of it, but I did it, so I'll own it. So yeah, sure, man, we can talk about anything you want.
I mean, you had a bit of a spell there. It was always like monthly, just different pair of jeans, just
it was brutal.
Split at the most inopportune area of jeans.
It was always stepping on the stage with the high step, but then that's how poor I was, is I couldn't, jeans dry rot after you've washed them so many times, right? You know what I mean? So like they were literally like red brown paper bags.
I could probably find some pictures if you want to upload them with the podcast. Maybe some cover art.
Well, we had I loved, probably one of my favorite times in the booth. So there was a retro club that I just absolutely loved, just because it was it was just hard to go that hard. Yeah. Like as that place, Decades was the name of it. And it was just one that was my favorite genre of music. And people just went absolutely ballistic in there. It was an unbelievable party. But outside of that, I loved, mine was by far the best room, but I loved opening at Scene. Just because like I got to play you'd let me play for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah. Which is a long time. And then because you were good enough, I got to play songs that a lot of other openers might not get to do, because I'd be like, hey man, can I rock this one? You'd be like, yeah, you can have that one tonight. And that was kind of cool. So I'd get to feel it a little bit.
I mean, as long as I think at the time it was like, don't play Turn Down for What?
That's it.
That was like the biggest song out at the time, is like, just don't play this right now.
That's right.
And then I would usually just make that my very first song. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
There you go, and rock it out. That was the first place. Mine was the first place that we took requests, but it's like somebody had to know how to get to you.
That's what I loved about mine. Is like, if we acknowledged your presence from the stage, we could talk to you. If not, you had to like work your way through a staircase, go to the VIP area, come through another VIP area, then come through the back door to the DJ booth.
So, folks, if you're waving at the DJ and they're not acknowledging you, they do see you.
Oh, absolutely, we see you. It's an art form to just ignore people.
That's right, and it's a choice.
Yes,
and it's a choice. But they're busy, man. They're not just up there pushing buttons. There's a lot that goes into it. There's stuff from management going on. Like that was the other thing, is if it would start to get a little bit rowdy, the manager might come up and be like, "Hey, man, we need to bring it back a little bit."
Yeah.
There's just so much that goes into that I was really interested to making sure we get into today for the folks, because like as a person that managed and owned them, gosh, you bartended too. You've done everything like I have, everything under the sun in a place, but like nobody knows what the heck's going on. They're just there to party, and they think that's all that we're doing too.
Yeah, DJ, you got to be responsible for the whole room. You also got to play security. A lot of times you see stuff happen before security does, and you got to get somebody's attention. Maybe change the music up if you feel like switching up the genre might bring down the energy of the room a little bit.
Yeah,
you can see DJ's really just the bird's eye view of the whole club.
Yes,
usually.
Yes, as an introvert, I always loved it, because like that was how I got away. That's how I ended up in the DJ booth in the first place. That's how I got away from people.
Yeah.
And I thought, dang, this is cool. I got this whole spot to myself.
Yeah, I always say I'm an introverted extrovert.
There you go.
My job is an extrovert, but I'm an actually introvert.
Yes, because I hated being in the middle of the crowd, getting bumped around and everything. It's just
the few times I do go out, I go straight to the DJ booth, go say what's up, and stay there. Let's keep me out of the crowds.
That's it. Well, luckily for us, every time that we bring some of the team out or whatever, you let us bring them up to the booth and we get to hang out with you. It's a good time, man.
You always bring a shot too. So it's
absolutely, and I'm gonna be bringing you one next weekend, or 2, or 4.
4 might get ugly.
Yeah, we
don't get after it like we used to.
Nah, we've grown up, hadn't we? Well, dude, it's so cool because you've been a Tennessee Titans resident. You've been on tour with some of the biggest names in country music. Vegas is the ultimate destination as a resident artist of any kind.
Yeah,
that's like the highest level.
I just want to move up the level of places I'm playing in Vegas, that's probably a 2022 goal also.
Yeah. Where, so Resort World in Vegas, brand new,
Opened last summer.
And it's absolutely incredible.
It's beautiful.
And you have a residency in one of the spots in Resorts World. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I mean,
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
What's your favorite spot to play right now, Nashville or Vegas?
I think it's Virgin Hotel Sunday night pool during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Play that sunset set time, and the pool looks west.
Yep.
So we're staring straight at the sunset.
Wow.
And Sunday nights is all house music and disco house, so it's 100% just pure vibes.
Yep.
It's one of those places where like, you come make a request, we don't care. We're here to just set the vibe, and that's it.
That's it. That sounds like a good time.
We're DJing right next to the pool, just looking straight out to the sunset.
That's awesome. Working with a view. A lot of people pay a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, people come through all the time. I was like, I can't believe this view. I'm like, I'm up here 3 days a week. Just
that's awesome.
Probably take it for granted, but
that's
occasionally
awesome.
I see those sunsets. I'm like, this is why I do it.
Mm-hmm. I may have asked you this before. What's the coolest event you've ever done?
I mean, obviously being on tour with Rascal Flats was amazing. Just standing on stage every night in front of 15,000 people, playing the music right before Rascal Flats walked out.
Yep, warming the crowd up, getting them ready.
Literally, last song, I brought down my fader for my last song, and Rascal Flats walked on stage. We passed each other going on and off stage.
How about that? That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
And shockingly, never once met him, though.
Really?
Never said a single word to him.
Wow.
The whole tour, did 25 or 30 dates, never shook anybody's hand.
Holy cow. So, I'm going to blame them for that.
Well,
but,
obviously, I'm not going to approach them.
Sure. The ride that sits in front of me today, that was a while ago, right? So the ride that sits in front of me today, knowing what you know and doing what you do, would you shake their hand today?
Yeah, I would have approached them.
There you go. Right.
That was also my first tour, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to.
You're just trying to be polite, man.
I was just staying out of the way.
That's it.
I know what my job was. I go do my job and get out of the way.
So DJs, you're in the public eye. You're in a place where a lot of people wear their best when they come to do those things. I have to mention the shoe collection.
I was wondering if that was going to come up.
Oh my gosh, bro! People I'm sure that there's people that have more. I've never seen.
Absolutely, there are, because I follow them on Instagram.
I mean, but what if you were like you got to be in the top 2 or 3%? No, and
according to StockX, the shoe buying app, my collection's top 1%. But
top 1%. All right, so hold on. By shoe collection, I mean we're not talking like Johnston and Murphy penny loafers or something, right? What are we talking about?
No, they're all Nikes and Jordans and a few Yeezys sprinkled in there.
Nikes, Jordans. So what Nikes? What Nikes are your go-to?
Air Maxes are my go-to.
Air Maxes?
Nike, yeah.
Heck yeah. How many pairs of Jordans do you have?
Jordans are probably, I'd have to guess Jordans are probably up around 150 or so.
So there you go, Fiona. 150 pairs of Jordan. Fiona loves Jordans. So I know you don't have a microphone, but they'll be able to hear. What's the ones you got for Christmas that you love?
I got the AJ1 OG Dark Mochas.
Oh, yeah. Nice pair.
Yeah, see, I knew y'all speak that language.
Yeah.
And you have an unbelievable room just for your shoes.
Yeah, I'm probably up around 300 in total pairs.
300 total pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
And how many of them have you not worn yet?
Not that many. I try to wear everything. I might definitely look at the forecast and see where I'm going for the day before I wear some shoes, but I try to wear everything.
Because you got to keep them crisp.
So the pair I'm wearing today is the first time I've worn them.
Okay. So what are those?
Off-white Air Max 90s.
Off-white Air Max 90s. That's the ones that you have a lot of pairs of, right?
Yeah.
Too. How many pairs of Air Max 90s do you have?
Probably up around 50, 60, 70. I don't know.
Dang, dude. And they're all in the room. You've got, so describe the room for everybody. Like it's unbelievable. It's so cool.
Well, I converted my bonus room into my sneaker closet, and thanks to the Container Store and their drop front shoe boxes. Container Store, if you're listening, feel free to send me a discount.
There you go.
Put up a 300 Container Store drop front shoe boxes, so they're all in display boxes now, out of the original shoe boxes. And then during the pandemic, me and my buddy Mike Chow put up LED lighting behind all of them, so they all light up now. Change colors, can set music to the beats, and
that's awesome.
I got my DJ set up in that room also. So
That's where you record your mixes, right?
Yeah.
When you're not recording live. All right. So what's the top 3 pairs of Jordans that you got that you like the most? That are either your favorite or just they're the most unique.
My favorite pair is always going to be the Black Cement 3.
Okay.
Which was my first pair of Jordans I ever had when I was in 4th grade.
Okay. So a little emotional value to those.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
All right.
definitely my favorite pair. And I have 5 or 6 pairs of those. Those are my go-to beaters.
Right on.
And also, if you've been over there, the giant shoe box I have, it's of that shoe.
Okay. Right on.
It's even got the size 6 on it, which was my first pair in 4th grade.
Okay. Heck yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the what's another pair that so what's your favorite Jordan model?
The 3.
The 3?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of which one is mine. I'm not a shoe guy, so I'm not sure, but I have 2 pairs of Jordans.
Yeah, I know you got those 5s.
I got the 5s. I think the 6s
5s.
are my favorites. 6s and 7s.
I think we've had conversations. You do like 6s.
Yeah, the 6s and 7s are my favorite. And which ones were the Olympic ones?
7s.
The 7s?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I want next. Is those. I love those. Those are one of my favorite ones. How many pairs of those exact shoe do you have?
2.
2 of those?
Yeah, I've got the original, and then they came out with a reverse colorway, and I've got those also.
So what's the difference between the original versus the re-releases?
A lot of times, if you have the original from, I guess that would have been 92. Mm-hmm. They're obviously falling apart by now, but there's slightly difference in the toe box design and just very intricate details that only sneaker snobs notice. Mm-hmm. But I'm all for the re-releases.
Yeah.
That way I can keep wearing them.
That's right. That's right. Because you got to keep them clean, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to keep them clean. Like most of them don't even look like they've been worn.
No. If you look, really the only time you can tell is if you look at the sole.
Yeah. How do you keep them from wrinkling when you're walking?
That's probably just my duck walk I've developed over the years.
So it's a special type of way you walk to keep them that way.
Just try not to bend your toes as much when you're walking.
Oh my gosh! And you're wearing them downtown, I'd be freaking out.
Yeah, it's probably gonna end up causing me issues later on in my hips or something. Flat foot walking so much.
Well, let's see. Obviously, as a performer, fashion is part of your identity,
Yeah.
and everybody knows you for your shoes.
Yeah.
Because it's unbelievable. You also have, you used to when you were Rod 2X, you had an unbelievable T-shirt collection.
It's getting back up there.
Is it?
Yeah.
So what'd you do? Like, how much material did you let go of? Did you give to Goodwill and stuff?
No, it's
when you get rid of
disgusting,
those?
and I'm still doing it. I'm still cleaning closets out and still have piles of clothes that I need to take to somewhere. So if anybody knows a good place to donate clothes, feel free to reach out.
I mean, and all these this is all top notch stuff. So, well, dude, it's really cool as a performer, as a DJ. One, to understand the science of what it is that you're actually doing, to be relevant, because like so much time goes into you have to preview tracks, download them. When you're playing remixes, you have to decide if it's the one you want to work with. Because how many versions of one song might there be of a hit song today?
Oh, it's obnoxious. I could pull up a Rihanna song right now and scroll through 80 different versions of it.
80 different versions of it. And obviously you've done your research to know which one, because you could play one version early in the night versus another version later in the night if you want to, based on how it hits.
That's the way I'm only ever going to play a track twice. I'll just play a different version of it.
Okay, right on. You remember back when mashups became
Oh, yeah.
kind of cool. That was what I guess AM didn't pioneer those, but he did a lot of mashup type things, didn't he?
You could put him as like one of the pioneering guys in the mashup genre.
Okay, that was so.
But I would say
so cool.
Crooklyn Clan were the ones who really took mashups to the next level, because they started the website where you could actually purchase their remixes of the mashups.
Right on.
So they made them more readily available to DJs throughout the country.
So DJs are on tour with artists. Gosh, even back in the 90s and early 2000s, even rock bands had a DJ on stage with them.
Oh yeah, the whole hip hop and metal, like the Limp Bizkits, and they had a DJ. Sugar Ray had a DJ.
Yep.
Yeah, all those guys back then. Linkin Park had a DJ.
Mm-hmm. So what are like when you see on the award shows and all that kind of stuff? Are those guys really playing when they're DJing these things?
It depends.
Okay.
I've seen some, and I took a screenshot one time and called him out. Not going to mention him on the podcast, but he literally didn't have a single cable plugged into any of his equipment.
That's like not plugging in your guitar.
At least, if you're going to fake it, at least plug it in.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's terrible. Back in like 2013, 14, there was all kinds of social media clips floating around with guys that were doing that stuff, and they'd be up there moving around.
Yeah.
It wasn't plugged in.
I mean, there's still, if you go to some of the bigger electronic festivals, the way they're programmed, lighting, video, there's almost no way of getting around some of those being pre-mixed sets. The way everything's time-coded and queued, there's no way around it.
Dude, so one thing that used to be flying around.
Those are absolutely the biggest of the biggest DJs, though.
That's right. So do a lot of DJs that might be. So if you go, I don't know, somewhere on Broadway tonight, is there a chance that DJ just push play on a mix he recorded somewhere else and just standing back there faking it?
If you walk in and there's 3 people in the room, yes.
That's what's happening?
Because I did it the other day.
All right. There you go.
Nobody had shown up yet and started at noon and just put a mix on that I made before.
Yep.
At least I took credit. I made the mix that was playing.
Yep.
And I just set the bar and was watching football until people showed up and I started playing.
First 15, 20 minutes back when I was playing was always something.
Oh, yeah.
Just to hang out.
I mean, we used to always do it back in the days. Just put a mix on, go sit at the bar and wait for enough people to show up and we'd be like, all right, I guess I'll go play now.
What else?
Because it's so awkward just DJing to nobody.
It really is. It really is. It's weird. It's weird. All right, so Blackout DJ, Tennessee Titans DJ, been on tour. We covered some of your some people you've played with, opened for, some of the best in the business, biggest in the business. In 2020, you're looking to you're looking to go in bigger places as residencies in Vegas.
Yeah.
You're already playing all the biggest spots in Nashville.
Yeah.
So there's really nowhere else to go from there.
Need some new spots to open in Nashville.
We need some new spots to open in Nashville. Well, I'm not going to be one that does it. I'm out. But I'll come watch you anywhere you want to play.
Don't blame me. It's a headache.
I'll come watch you anywhere you want to play. Is there anything else besides, like, so you covered a lot of really good stuff about like mindset, about consistency, about work ethic, promotion. Like it's in the entertainment thing, it's hard to get to, or it would be, it wouldn't be fair to everybody if we got too technical and too business related, right? So we got to tell some stories in the entertainment factor, but like, I don't know, man. Like
maybe also throw in there, be humble.
Be humble.
Yeah.
Right on.
Your head shouldn't, I don't care what gig you have, you're not that good.
There you go.
You're not better than the next guy.
There you go. That's a good one. We gave him one right there. So, if the folks want to come see you in person, what's your next? So what's February and March look like for you?
I've got 2 trips to Vegas. I'm going out to Doghouse. Be out there next week or this week when you're listening.
Yep.
You'll be out there with me. And then going back out there, I think around March 10th.
Okay.
Then.
So you're booked out in months in advance for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Then every weekend you can basically find me at either Virgin Hotel or W or Kung Fu here in Nashville if I'm in town. Then.
So you're working 4, 5, 6 nights or days a week.
Basically, I'm working 3 days a week, but I'm cramming 6 gigs in. Usually got a day gig, then I'll go home, chill for a little bit, eat dinner, and then go back and do the late night gig and do that Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me how the time slots have changed. Back in the day, it was like 9 to 3.
Yeah, back in the day, it was like all you had was your one late night shift. That was it. There's no daytime gigs. Like now you can go to Broadway at noon and there's a DJ playing. Mm-hmm. And you can, if you really wanted to cram your schedule, you could do 3-4 sets a day.
That's cool. Because the sets aren't as long and there's just, the market's so much better.
Yeah, you can start DJing at noon and be done at 3 a.m. if you wanted to.
There you go. It's dude, how wild is it downtown right now in Nashville?
It's insane. You can go out there. We can drive down there right now. Broadway's going to be busy.
That's crazy. Well, they always said that corporate was coming. We were the little guys there.
Oh, it's all corporate now.
On the corner, and it's a better product, quite frankly.
Yeah.
They've got it down to a science. It's awesome. They did it better than I ever did.
I mean, the one building on Broadway just sold for $20 million more than what they paid for it 4 years ago.
It's crazy.
Make a $20 million profit in 4 years.
It's crazy, and they're demoing stuff.
Here's the keys. Take it. I'm selling.
That's crazy. It's crazy, dude. It's a good time. Anybody? So any guys that are looking to become a DJ? Any final advice for besides take your licks? Like if you can get
take
a
your
gig
licks, put in the time, be humble.
You got to love music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you rehearsed at home all the time, right? You were always playing when you first started.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it wasn't just when you had a gig. You were playing. How for every 3-hour gig you played, how many hours of practice when you first started do you think you were doing?
For every 3-hour gig I did back in the day, I was probably playing at home for 3 hours. So it was
At least.
1 for 1.
Yep, at least. And then now you probably when you're not recording mixes, like you do a lot. So if people want to call you and pay you to make them a mix, that's something you can produce and send to them for their own stuff as well, right?
I did quite a bit of that during the pandemic.
That's right. Okay. So how would they, if somebody wanted to get you to make them something, how would they contact you to get that?
Easiest is just reach out to me on my socials. They're all at DJ Rod Youree.
So the biggest two are Instagram and Twitter, right?
Yeah, Instagram's the easiest. Just slide into the DMs.
Boom, slide into the DMs of Instagram at DJ Rod Youree. And again, if you're in Vegas,
I'll be at Doghouse.
pop in. Where can they check your schedule if you want to?
Same. It's on socials or.
You are good about posting that like all the time.
I post my schedule weekly.
Every single week. And did I miss your website?
I use the Just One Link website.
There you
which
go.
is /DJ Rod Youree.
Perfect.
It's all grouped together. Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook. They're all just right there, one click away.
So for 2022, you're going to be uploading more material.
Yeah, try and get more content out.
More content, and then, like I say,
like to lock down one more tour before I get too old.
there you go. Well, you're in the mix for that, dude.
Yeah, and I was down to the final 2 on one right before the pandemic hit. So
Really, can you say who that was with?
I'll tell you off air.
All right, cool. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Well, sweet man. Anything else? Anybody who's new to the game that's raising eyebrows that you like out there right now?
Man,
Are there any old guys left?
all the old guys are still left.
Really?
Yeah,
Good for them.
yeah. JazyJeff still out playing every weekend.
That's
still
awesome.
a beast.
Little John's still doing it, isn't he?
Yeah, Lil Jon, he just played the Raiders game I think 2 weeks ago.
Dude, I love listening to him. He's so much fun.
He's totally opposite to what you see when you get him for a DJ set.
Right on.
He can do the open format thing.
That's awesome. How cool is that? Well, any other new guys that you love out there right now?
Man, that one put me on the spot. I would say probably not necessarily new, but somebody you haven't heard of is Fade, F-A-E-D.
Okay.
It's DJ 5 and Eric Deluxe out of LA and Vegas.
Right on.
They're kind of along the lines of your favorite DJ's favorite DJ type of situation.
Yeah.
They play all the big spots in Vegas and LA.
That's
I
awesome.
think they have a show on Sirius on Diplo Station.
Okay. So, have you ever played on Sirius before? I know Silver he's done a lot of spots there.
Yeah, Silver's on Pitbull Station pretty regularly.
That's cool. That's fantastic.
Maybe that's something I'll do in 2022.
That's a big deal. That's a real big deal.
Pitbull's making a comeback.
Yes, he is.
That new song he's got a banger.
It is a banger, isn't it?
And I was hating on him for a couple years just making soccer mom music.
Yes.
As soon as this song came out, I was like, dang it, I actually like this song.
Dude, everybody used to hate on Pitbull back in the day. I always loved playing his tracks because they were freaking huge.
That was the heyday of Pitbull back then.
Yes. It was like every third song might have Pitbull in it.
Pitbull and Black Eyed Peas.
That's right.
We definitely did not go to Deja Vu with will.i.am one night.
Oh, man. I guess that's probably not. I guess we can't talk about that too much. Maybe that's for episode 2.
Allegedly.
Episode 2, we're going to talk about allegedly.
Allegedly. All alleged nights.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, folks, it's just like anything else that we're doing. Like if it's something that you want to do, if you're waiting for somebody else to call you and give you the opportunity, you got to go out there and create it. You got to get good at your craft. He's obviously very skilled. He's developed a skill set for what he does. He knows what the market is in need for. He knows why he's hired to and what the job is to do. He takes a lot of pride in it. He follows up. That's the biggest thing that people don't do is follow up.
I think one of the biggest things also is like my New Year's Eve gig. I got booked at the W, and the guy literally just said he booked me. I've done plenty of gigs for him, but he was like, I booked you because I know I don't have to worry about you. You're going to show up, you're going to do your job, and I don't have any worries. I can just leave that whole aspect of the night alone. There's other things I got to worry about.
That's it.
DJ is not something I have to worry about tonight. So DJing,
awesome.
At the end of the day, it's a job. You have to treat it as a job.
That's right. It's a job. You are for hire, and until you have a top 40 hit somewhere, you are for hire.
Until somehow I can find that retirement fund.
There you go. Well, dude, I wouldn't put it past you, man. Well, like I say, DJ Rod Youree, he has put on some of the largest festivals in the city of Nashville in the last 20 years. whether you were responsible for the booking, the management of it, or you were playing when it.
Might have booked the porta potties.
Or
Never
all
know.
You never know. You never know. They were the ones with the DJ in the middle, in the back, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're a member of an elite group called Blackout DJs, right?
Yes.
Which is a booking agency, so that's another way they can find you if they wanted to book you, right? They could go through that. I don't know. Are you going to be doing any more NFL stuff or anything like that in the future?
I don't know. Doing the Titan stuff was a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. You got there at 8 a.m. for a noon kickoff.
Yeah, because they got to get everything plugged in, and
You got to get set up,
pregame.
sound checked, and you got a production meeting at 9, gates at 10. You got to be playing at 10:01.
Mm-hmm. All the pregame, the players had requests.
Players had requests, and ownership would send you a request depending on how the game went. Like literally, you could play one song one week, it's great. They lose the next week, you're not allowed to play that song anymore. It went like that occasionally.
That's awesome, dude. Well, everything has a purpose, especially on the big stage. Well, dude, it was I can't thank you enough for hanging with me today. Like outside of our first technical difficulty, I don't want to say it too much because people remember it, but like this has been fantastic.
I just like the fact you noticed the technical difficulty as we were discussing a technical difficulty.
That's exactly right. And long story short, literally, we had Fiona and I were talking some production stuff yesterday, and we were just talking about how like we're due for that. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody, and we're due. And we were talking about knock on wood. We knocked on it and everything, raised the right leg, knocked 3 times, and said it hasn't happened to us. And but I appreciate you working with us on that and
no problem.
getting us fired back up and picking things right back up where we had left off. So that was good because luckily for us, we'd only gone for like 4 or 5 minutes before we realized it had quit.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun today. When you hit me up about doing this, I was reluctant. I was like, what do I talk about?
Dude, I'm serious. We could go on forever, but like you got to get booked. If you don't play, you ain't getting paid, right?
Exactly.
So, like, you got to keep a busy schedule. You got to be on top of it. Like, you book your own schedule for the most part.
Yeah. 99% of my schedule is booked by myself.
And you're telling the promoters if you can or can't.
I was lining flights up before I walked out the door to come over here.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, folks,
Southwest, if you're listening, we need that third nonstop to Vegas.
we sure do. Holy cow. It's brutal.
They took it off the schedule for some reason.
Well, they definitely need to put it back.
It's either you fly at 6 a.m. or 7 at night.
That's it.
That middle of the day one's gone.
The middle of the day's gone. Well, we're going to do the early one to come see you, and we're going to do the late one to come home.
I'll be there.
It'll be a good time, man. So, folks, if you are heading to Vegas or in Nashville, make sure you check in with DJ Rod Youree on Instagram to find out where he's going to be. Go check him out. And remember, man, no matter what you want to do, whether it's a DJ, a musician, businessman, selling whatever, consistency trumps intensity. And if you want it bad enough and you're willing to do the work, you can have it.
Absolutely.
You can have it. All right, man. DJ Rod Youree. Check out his Mixcloud. Download the app. I know that anytime we're at an event, if I'm responsible for the music, that's usually we're playing one of your mixes.
I've heard stories.
Oh yeah, all the time. But dude, thanks again so much for hanging with me today. It was a blast. We got to have you back.
Yeah,
we got to have you
having
back. And I will be seeing you in Vegas here in just a few short days.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be awesome. So, folks, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Hitstreak. Once again, I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I got to say this: we've been blown away with the reception. I'm glad you guys like this. I'm glad you guys are getting a lot out of it, and we so much appreciate your support. Don't forget to click those subscribe buttons so you get notified when the next episode drops, and keep downloading and streaming, baby. It's rocking and rolling. Thanks again so much for tuning in today. God bless.